I have not had one day of sickness in 29 years, not one. Does drinking water hydrate us? Absolutely not. When God made water, he did not make H2O. No. When God made water, his recipe is H2O-MSM. So anybody that's, lacking energy, or they're lacking brain function, or they're on a medication, if they're on Adderall or Xanax or any of these medications, it's only because they're dehydrated and their brain is not optimized.
If you do this 88-day thing, I can increase your strength by 50%.
Since 1997, I have never seen one disease not reverse. Treatment pays, but cures would put the medical establishment, hundreds of billions of dollars, in the red.
John, you're 65 years old and you set the world record for chest press at 555 pounds, and you only weigh like 180 pounds. And then you make these claims that you can cure any disease with your hydration method in 88 days. Like, there's a lot to talk about. So let's jump into first the bench press. Because first off, you told me you're 65. I'm like, I wouldn't have guessed you were 65. And then how can you bench 555 pounds at your age? Just anyone, really.
Well, great question. And I'll take you back 29 years ago. In 1997, I read a scripture in the Bible, to Deuteronomy 33:25. And it says, as your years are, so shall your strength be. It's in the Bible that we're supposed to get stronger as we get older. So back then, I could bench press about 200 pounds 2 times, and I was very excited to do 200 pounds 2 times.
That's Brian right now.
I would be stoked.
Yeah.
He needs to read 225.
He needs to read this verse right now.
I need to go read the Torah, yeah.
Hey, so bro, the good news is the word of God is true. And so I set a goal to increase 4 ounces, yes, 1/4 pound, every week. That was my goal. I thought, well, I'm just going to increase a tiny bit at a time. And so that's basically, a pound, here and there. Well, it doesn't sound like a lot, but 29 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And so I kept just getting a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger. And then, after my 63rd birthday, I was just at the gym on a normal day, and some guys came up to me and said, good night, man. That's like a world record.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I was excited and went home to my wife and said, baby, the guys at the gym said, I'm like a world record. And she said, what were you lifting? And I said, 525. And so she starts Googling, and she comes back to me and she says, babe, 541 is the world record. She goes, if you could do 541, honey, you would have the world record.
And is that for any weight class? What is that for?
No, I'm glad that you asked that. So weightlifting is by weight class.
Right.
So
okay.
It's 200 pounds and under. So for 200 pounds and
that's
under,
that's the
world record was 541. But it was 1 rep at 541, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, honey, I don't even train for strength. I think I could do it. And so I called up Julius Maddox, and Julius Maddox is the world record holder for bench press. He does 792 pounds, 1 rep. And Julius weighs 440 pounds. So he is a strong man. He's a strong man. And he's a beautiful, godly Christian man, by the way. He is a crazy, inspirational guy. But he's a friend of mine, and I'd worked out with him a couple of times. I called him, Julius, what do you think? He goes, John, I know you can do it, man. You don't even lift for strength. Because he's seen me do the 225, like 50 times. And so he said, John, I know you could do this. So he gave me a protocol to follow, for doing, maximum weight, which interestingly, the most that you ever lift is 465. So I never lifted 555 in my life, not even until the day I did it with 6 cameras and hundreds of people, like Gold's Gym certifying this world record. Oh, but I would do 465 about 30 times, by the way.
Whoa! That's crazy. Do you work out legs at all, or is it just all chest?
Oh, no. I could do about 1,100 pounds 10 times.
No way! Dang, I cannot do that for sure.
He does not have chicken legs.
Yeah.
No, so anyway, the But it really is a testament that God's word is true. I have no ego. I've never done a one-time lift in my life, which is why I did 555 14 times.
Oh, you did it 14 times.
I did it 14 times. And I told the guy, I said, hey, I'm going to get this at least 5 times because I'm not a one-time kind of guy. And so anyway, it really was all based upon a biblical principle and just proving, hey, God's word is true. And also it says, your youth and strength will be renewed like an eagle. So it is a biblical principle that we can get stronger as we get older, but we also have to implement the principles, that God teaches in his word, which is, well, what does an eagle do? It's the daily habits of an eagle that cause it to renew its youth and strength. So based upon this protocol that I teach people of intracellular hydration, I've been doing this protocol for 29 years. Simple, it's easy. It's all biblically based on you'll be like a tree planted by a river of living water, actually getting water inside the cells. That's what I totally attribute that strength to.
Yep. Psalm 1, 1 through 3. That's a good verse. So Brian.
So what's the secret?
Well, hold on. But Brian, I've actually gotten stronger as I've aged.
Yeah. I've gotten...
What's happened to you?
I got 5 kids. I got a lot of kids, bro. I got 5 kids.
No pressure.
No pressure.
What
no
happened
pressure.
to you?
Yeah. I have a lot of kids.
Well, John has a lot of kids. How many kids you got?
8.
Damn,
John!
You have no excuse.
Crapping off me right now, John.
John got 8 kids.
Yeah.
He got 8 grandkids.
You have 8 grandkids already?
8 grandkids.
Damn. And then you also have this thing where you could cure any disease in 88 days?
Well, we're not allowed to use that word in America.
Okay.
So in America, and I learned this the hard way. I learned this because when I was young and naive and helping people, you're allowed to say reverse, but you're not allowed to say cure.
Okay, so you could reverse any disease in 88 days.
Because it could come back, I guess, theoretically. That would be the difference between cure and reverse.
Yeah.
Well, or it could be that the medical community does not want anyone to believe they ever can be cured of a disease.
Oh, boy.
Because
now we're canceled.
Treatment pays. Treatment pays. But cures would put the medical establishment, hundreds of billions of dollars, in the red.
So what's your claim? Yeah, what's the claim you make?
Well, actually, I make no claims. I only share real stories. So I make no claims, but I do have tens of thousands of real stories of Crohn's disease reversed, Lyme's disease reversed, spinal stenosis, diverticulitis, high blood pressure, diabetes, yes, even the C word, which we won't say what the C word is, but everything is reversible. So for 11 years, and this started with my own journey, by the way, but for 11 years, I had several thousand people come to me and say, could you help me with fill in the blank of whatever your physical challenges that you have? Cholesterol, diabetes, spinal stenosis, whatever, autoimmune disorder, whatever it was. And I had one answer for 11 years. I don't know. Let's see. But guess what? In 11 years, I saw every single one of those people reverse whatever they had. Then I began to change my answer. So I still am never making a claim. I just tell people the facts. The facts are, you could go look since 1997, since I started helping people in the arena of health and wellness. I have never seen one disease not reverse.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this episode, but how would you like to be the one that I'm interviewing on this show? I'm looking for entrepreneurs who've got a great message to share, who have an inspiring story, and who can add value to the audience. So submit by going to wealthyway.com. Well, my dad just got diagnosed with the C word, stage 4, about 6 weeks ago. So it's all new. So he's currently doing chemo. And when I started talking about it, I had people message me like, hey, there's all these different alternatives and methods out there. He doesn't have to do chemo and other stuff. Like, he can do X, Y, Z, and we see great results from it. And so I am curious to hear what this protocol looks like for him specifically. And then other smaller ones, right? Like my wife, she's got gluten allergies and all this crap. And, I'm just like, we can heal it with prayer. If you believe and have faith, we can heal this gluten thing. But man, if she could have a piece of bread again, she'd be hyped.
Yeah, well, interesting. Well, let's start with your wife first.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
And again, everything that I'll share here today is all documentable with thousands of, I have 6 terabytes of documented testimonials.
Wow.
But there's someone that's coming to my mind right now. Her name is Jessica, a young mother, probably the same age as your wife. And she was so gluten intolerant that 4 times in 1 year she was hospitalized just because she was in a room with flour.
Wow.
And she was taking $1,500 a month of medication. She had a very severe gluten intolerance. But her parents had done my protocol, and they said, can you help our daughter? They said, we think our daughter's going to die. If she doesn't get help, they said, we think we're going to be raising her children. I said, 100%. So I met their daughter. We got her started on her 88-day and 2-week protocol. 2 weeks is a foundation phase, by the way. And then we put them into this 88-day cellular health protocol. She goes into this protocol at the end of 88 days, because I told her at the end of 88 days, I said, you could eat ice cream or pizza, because she also was lactose intolerant. So She couldn't eat ice cream. She surely could not eat the crust of a pizza.
Right.
So at the end of the 88 days, my cell phone rings, and it's Jessica Bosch. And she says, John, will you please talk to my husband, Daniel, and tell him I can go out for pizza and ice cream tonight? And he gets on the phone with me, and he said, John Jubilee, he said, I don't want to be taking my wife to the hospital.
Yeah.
He said, I've been through this too many times. He said, you are telling me with 1,000% I can take her out for pizza and ice cream. I said, 1,000%. That was 6 years ago. She's still eating pizza and ice cream. She never went back on medication. She fully reversed. Nobody is really lactose intolerant. Nobody has a gluten intolerance. What they have is a dehydrated digestive system that is not processing the dairy, and it's not processing the gluten the way that God designed them, but it's only because, I'll ask you this question, it's only because they're dehydrated. And I can prove it this way. I'll ask you the question, what's the difference between a raisin and a grape?
One looks dehydrated.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
One is dehydrated.
Yeah.
So picture that if it's your kidney, if it's your liver, if it's your digestive system, if it's your stomach. If you have the raisin, of course it cannot process the way that it's supposed to process. But when you have the river of living water flowing through your body, you can assimilate and enjoy everything that God made in this earth. God gave you taste buds because food tastes good. And he took them to a land flowing with
milk and honey.
Milk and honey. So nobody is supposed to be lactose intolerant. You're supposed to enjoy your milk, enjoy your honey. And look, I tell people Jesus hates that keto diet. And I can prove it scripturally. Give us this day
our daily bread.
Our daily bread. No, bread is supposed to be a daily staple in everyone's life.
I know. My wife even she looks at the communion cracker and she's just like,
dang.
Yeah. I'm like, this can't be right.
Yeah. So are you just saying she needs to drink more water? You said cellular hydration?
No, great. It's not drinking the water. So this is part of my story. I drank a gallon of water every day for 10 years. 10 years, I'm drinking a gallon of water every day.
Were you the guy carrying your big fat jug everywhere?
I didn't carry the big fat jug, but I did drink the big fat jug.
Yeah.
I did. I drank a gallon of water. We all knew drink more water. Everybody knows drink more water. So I'm drinking a gallon a day for 10 years. But I didn't play pro sports, but I played a lot of sports when I was younger. I played a lot of street basketball and football, and I had no cartilage left in my knees. I was bone on bone in my knees, and man, does that hurt. Let me tell you. You could have heard me walk in this studio, crunch, crunch, crunch. My staff called me Mr. Rice Krispies because I snapped, crackled, and popped, when I walked. So I'm in all this pain. And I had a moment with a couple of my boys. I wake up on a Saturday morning. They wanted to go throw the football in the backyard. We go out in the backyard, and it's a beautiful sunny day, and the grass was perfect. And we're throwing this ball for about 10, 12 minutes, and now I'm in so much pain I can't take it. I said, I'm so sorry, boys. Daddy's got to go in the house. I go in the house, plop down on the couch, and I'm having this vision of myself. Oh, my word. I am the couch potato dad. I'm the couch potato dad. And then I see this picture of myself. And my waist was 10 inches bigger than it is right now, by the way. So I'd gained 10 inches in my waist. My knees are killing me, but I'm taking $1,000 a month of supplements. $1,000 a month for 10 years. I'm drinking a gallon of water a day for 10 years. I'm in pain. I'm overweight. I'm miserable. I got brain fog going on. And now I'm thinking, oh my word, is this going to be my legacy? This can't be. I have to do something different. So in my frustration, after trying, Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and every medical program and, everything that you could think of, none of that stuff is sustainable. And you know why it's not sustainable? Because God gave us these things called taste buds. We want to eat something that tastes good.
Hell yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I realized, well, wait a minute, let me go research myself. So I go research all these, huge clinical studies and government-funded medical-backed research and thousands of pages of science. And it all comes down, I'm a simplifier. I like to simplify complex things. And I realized we are just like a bag of water and cells. That's pretty much what the human body is. It's water and cells. Those two things break down everything that we have in our human body. So now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I have all these medical tests from all this medical stuff I've been doing for 10 years, but there's one measurement I don't have. I have no clue how hydrated I am. So I start calling all my doctors. Hey, could you please give me my hydration level? Can you please give me, do you know what your hydration level is?
I didn't know it could be measured.
Do you have yours?
I might. What is it called?
Yeah, see? Guess what?
I just look at my pee.
Isn't it called?
No, it's not. It's called hydration. And it's specifically called intracellular hydration. No doctor had it. I said, how is this possible? The most important measurement in the human body, and no doctor is measuring this? You got to be kidding me. So I go research online, and I'm trying to find a device to measure cellular hydration. This is 1997, by the way. So I finally find a device. It cost $11,000.
Wow.
But I know I have to measure it. I measure my hydration. Remember, I'm drinking a gallon of water a day for 10 years. How low am I? 20 pounds low at a gallon a day. So to answer your question, does drinking water hydrate us? Absolutely not. You could drink a gallon a day and you could be 20 pounds low. And a gallon weighs 8.3 pounds. So I was more than 2 gallons low inside my cells at drinking a gallon a day. So that's when I got the revelation, it's not drinking the water. It's because our cells get hard as a glass marble. They have 2 membranes around them, and all that water is bouncing off. But I also got a revelation of my expensive pee.
Yeah.
And you know why I had expensive pee?
All supplements?
Because all those supplements are just going straight down the toilet.
Yeah.
They're going straight down the toilet. They're not getting it. If the water's not getting in my cells, I know those supplements aren't getting in my cells either.
Right.
I had $12,000 a year pee going right down the toilet.
Dang.
In today's real estate market, it is really difficult to find cash flow, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. For this reason, I'm a huge fan of wholesaling real estate right now specifically. It's the strategy that I'm using in my real estate investing business, and it's what all of our students at Wealthy Investor are doing as well. And we give you everything that you need to start your wholesaling business and have the same exact system that I have. You get the motivated seller leads, the same softwares, the same systems, processes, and one-on-one coaching and support. We'll show you step by step how you can get started today and get your first deal in 30 days or less. So go to wealthyinvestor.com today. So what was the solution?
Yeah. No, great question. So the solution was, I'm looking at this and thinking, well, how can all of us be drinking all this water and none of it is getting inside our cells? Well, we have to transform that cell from being hard like a glass marble to porous like a sponge. And if we could do that, get it porous like a sponge, well, that means it's going to go from being like a raisin to the grape. And if we can get all of our cells to the grape, that means all of our organs are now going to be optimized. For instance, diabetes, the number one cause of diabetes, it's not fat, it's not sugar, it's dehydration. When that pancreas gets dehydrated, it becomes like a raisin, and now it cannot regulate the insulin. And so I created a protocol for myself. I thought, from all this science I researched, I'm going to do these 3 steps for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to add 3 steps, and then I'm going to add 3. So I came up with 12 steps in this protocol to follow. And then I followed this protocol. And 88 days is a cellular cycle of the human body. So that's why it's 2 weeks to kind of prime the pump, and then 88 days to do the protocol. And the next thing you know, 88 days later, oh my goodness. Oh, by the way, I want to be clear. I was not trying to lose weight. I mean, did I need to lose weight? Yes. My belly was 10 inches too big, but I wasn't trying to lose weight. All I was trying to do was feel better. When you're in pain, you don't care what you look like. You just want to feel better. So my goal was to feel better. And so guess what happened? Oh my goodness. 88 days later, I felt amazing. Side effect, I did lose the 10 inches. I lost the 10 inches in my waist, but now my brain was super sharp, because the brain is 70% water, by the way. So it's our most hydrated, or it's our most hydration needy organ that we have in our body is our brain. So anybody that's, lacking energy, or they're lacking brain function, or they're on a medication, if they're on Adderall or Xanax or any of these medications, it's only because they're dehydrated and their brain is not optimized. But they get their brain optimized, they won't need any of those medications that they're taking for those type of issues.
What do you think about things like autism and everything else? My firstborn has autism.
Yep. Was he vaccinated?
No. Well, yeah, actually, he wasn't vaccinated with COVID vaccine, but he was vaccinated with the normal vaccines. After that, we stopped vaccinating everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, these are just real statistics. It used to be 1 in 20,000 kids had autism. Once we started vaccinating our children, now it's 1 in 30, kids. But here's the good news is the brain still is the brain. It basically has 8 parts to it. And it also has neuroplasticity. So the more hydration you put into the brain, you give the brain the opportunity to develop new neural pathways and new synapses activity. So my oldest son also was vaccinated. And guess what? He's on the autism. He's on the spectrum for autism. Well, when I learned this, and they told me he'll never function normally. They said, he just has high level autism and da-da-da-da-da. So I heard all that, but guess what I did? When I learned this, I put my son on this protocol. Today, my son works a full-time job. He's a high contributor to society. He has a wife and 4 kids. He lives a life. Nobody knows he's autistic.
So what are these steps? So what are the 12 steps people need to do to get hydrated?
Well, I don't want to go into all the science of the 12 steps, but I'd love to share the first 3 steps. 12 is a lot to get into for people. And, if people really do want to up level, if they really want to optimize their health, then, I'll be happy to, share with them. And we do have a protocol for them to do that. But I'll share the first 3 things that everybody should do. And it's just as simple as what I call water, walk, nutrition. So first of all, I'm not telling you can get hydrated by drinking water, but you still have to drink water to get hydrated. It is one of the 12 steps. You do have to be getting your water in there. So definitely make it a healthy habit to start drinking your water. And by the way, in this generation, and probably a lot of people in your audience out there, it's way better, guys, to drink our water than it is to be drinking the Red Bull, the Celsius, all of these, hyped up, power drinks that are basically going to give you, a big energy boost, but then they're going to pull you down, lower than you were before. So you get healthy hydration, at the cellular level. No, you're like a a tree planted by a river of living water. It's going to flush out all your toxins, going to flush out all your information. It's going to energize you better than any energy drink could ever do. So number one is the water. And when I say go for a walk, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, get yourself out there and get moving. You know, there's a scientific principle, a body in motion stays in motion, an object in motion stays in motion. So get yourself moving. Get yourself out there for a walk. And when you go first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, if you have any extra weight, you will burn 3 times as much fat first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And so get yourself out there and get moving. And another little side tip, once you get yourself moving, going for a walk, so now you got your water, you got your walk first thing in the morning, go walk for an hour. And here's why. The first 20 minutes, actually the first 10 minutes, when you go for a walk, your body says, oh, Ryan's up, he's moving, we need energy, let's go get some glucose. And it goes and gets the sugar out of your muscle. About minute 11, the body says, oh, still moving, let's go get some more complex sugar. Now it goes and gets glycogen. Eats that glycogen, but at minute 21, an amazing thing happens. The body says, wow, they're not stopping. Let's go get the fat. So from minute 21 to minute 60, you are in the zone. You're in the fat burning zone. From minute 21 to minute 60, and again, if you'll do it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, you're going to get triple the fat burn. And then on your nutrition, listen, again, I'm going to teach the principle. There's no diet in the world that is sustainable. I do not believe in dieting. It starts with D-I-E, die. Like, don't diet. You know, enjoy good food. That is sustainable. If you eat good food that you enjoy eating, that's sustainable. The only 2 things that we teach not to eat during your 88 days is sugar and white flour. When white flour touches human saliva, it turns into pure glucose. It's just like table sugar. And sugar turns off your fat-burning switch and has a lot of other negative side effects if you don't already have your cellular hydration and you didn't reset your hypothalamus and your metabolism. But those are the first 3 things I'd recommend for anyone to do.
Got it. So water, you got any specific amount?
Well, for sure, set your first goal. You know, I still believe in drinking a gallon of water a day. But again, if you're not doing the other things, it's not going to get in your cell. So get started, though, with get yourself in a healthy habit of drinking a gallon a day.
And you're saying it's going to go in your cell because of the walk?
No, it's not going to go in your cell until you do the full 12 things.
Got it.
No, you need to be doing all 12.
And all 12 of these things basically are to open up your cells to receive the water.
Correct. They're to transform the cell from being hard as a glass marble like this to porous like a sponge like this, so it can actually get inside the cell.
You guys know I love the game of golf, and that is why I started M19. It is a golf mastermind for entrepreneurs who are doing over 7 figures in their business and who want to go on bucket list golf trips together. We already have hundreds of members all across the country, and we've been to some of the best courses in the world, places like Pebble Beach, Pinehurst, Bandon Dunes, and many others. The course is the best place to do deals, make great relationships, and have fun. So go to mastermind19.com today.
What if I just want to skip all these steps and do peptides? Is that like a better?
Well, here's what I would say to that is you could go Google this on the internet or just go ask, Chat GPT, how many bodybuilders die per year? How many bodybuilders die per year? Bodybuilders are the best looking human specimens on the planet. They look the best.
Mm-hmm.
Are they the healthiest? Absolutely not. Why? Because they are the most dehydrated athletes. They are always they take Lasix to push water out of their body. They intentionally dehydrate themselves. And about 50 to 70 bodybuilders drop dead every year. But man, do they look amazing in their coffins. They look amazing. They are shredded. They are ripped. And they're taking their TRT. They're taking their peptides. They're taking these other things. So it's not about, just trying to look good. No, it's about being healthy at the cellular level with a side effect of having real strength, real vitality, and real health.
So you're not on peptides or TRT or nothing.
Nothing at all.
Dang! While you lifted all this heavy weight, no TRT.
What is your testosterone level? Do you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's actually, I'm sure it's on I posted my blood test and urine test and all that online when I set the world record. And by the way, I'll quickly say this, even testosterone level is a little bit of a myth because it's not what your testosterone level is. It's your free testosterone that's available to be used.
That's more important than
it's way more.
3,000 test.
So of course, look, guys, there's a saying, right? Follow the money, follow the money. So every TRT clinic, they love to test your testosterone and go, oh, you need to be at 1,000, so let us put you on this every month for the rest of your life. And they really do. They get people hooked for life on that.
Yep.
It's follow the money. But do you really need it just because, if your score, let's say it's 400, well, wait a minute, but how much do I have free? And do I really have any of the side effects of low testosterone? So I'm 65 years old. I am a ecstatically happily married man with one beautiful wife who I get to wake up with every morning. And I get to wake up like a 15-year-old boy every morning at 65 years old. So full strength, full energy, full power,
The 8 kids are evidence.
So everything is optimized at the cellular level, again, with no TRT, with no peptides, with no HGH.
Do you think it would be better?
Yeah. What about if you hydrated and took TRT?
Yeah. Do you think you would be even more optimized, or it would hurt you?
No, I know this scientifically, and I would challenge anyone to do this. No, go ask, what are the negative side effects of TRT? What are the negative side effects of peptide fill in the blank? What are the negative side effects of a GLP-1, 2, or 3?
I thought there's none.
No, every one of those has negative side effects.
Dang.
Every one of those has negative side effects. You can't find one of them. TRT, it thickens the blood. That's why they tell them they have to go donate
do a blood dump. Yep.
They could get moody. They can have emotional swings. Their hair can fall out.
Yep. That's what happened to Brian.
They can get an estrogen. They can get an estrogen spike.
That happened to Brian.
That happened to me too.
So all of these things are real negative side effects. And so I say to everyone that asks me, I'm like, look, if you want to do that, please do what I teach, because at least I can help you offset your negative side effect. I have a lot of bodybuilders that are my clients, by the way.
Yeah. That are doing all the stuff.
They're doing it to offset. Like, they know what they're doing is dangerous for them. They know it has a negative side effect. So they add this to it. Same thing with the GLP-1. A GLP-1 guarantees you're going to lose hydration, you're going to lose muscle. They guarantee you those two things will happen for a fact. Well, guess what? We guarantee you're going to gain hydration and you're going to gain lean muscle. So if someone is going to do a GLP-1, we say, well, absolutely, you better do this with it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to lose that lean muscle, which is platinum, and you're going to lose your healthy hydration, which you can have very serious issues with dehydration.
I did do you think like the DEXA scans are accurate?
The DEXA scans are fairly accurate, but that technology is more than 30 years old. DEXA scanner's been around for 30 years. So the most accurate device for measuring hydration is what's called an in-body, and it's the $30,000, $31,000. Costs $31,000 for an in-body scanner, but that measures your intracellular hydration and your what they call ECW, your extracellular water. So it measures what's outside the cell, it measures what's inside the cell.
So is that what we would do to go try and get our measurement right now to see where we're at?
You could do that to go do it. It costs about $50, so it's inexpensive, to go get that test done.
That's called what again? I want to do it after this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go over there.
Well, it's in body, but make sure that it's the $31,000 device, because they have some that are only $10,000.
You guys got the $31,000.
Yeah.
How much did you pay?
Yeah.
What if we get one for the little tent makers out here?
That'd be good.
Check out.
Well, here's the good news. Listen, we have a device that we measured from devices all over America. It's called a bioimpedance technology. So bioimpedance technology now is very common, but it's not accurate. So we got devices from all over the world, from France, from China, from everywhere. And we found one within 1% accuracy of
wow.
that $31,000. And we actually FedEx all of our clients that device, by the way. So that's the one that we use for all of our clients nationwide. So we're all across America, and we're in 8 or 10 countries around the world right now.
Yeah.
But it is measurable to know what your hydration level is. And for men, it should be 60%, and ladies should be 55.
Got it.
What about
And side note, before we even jump into this, if somebody wants to become a client, where do they go?
Yeah, to Energized Health, and it's ENERGIZED, energizedhealth.com, and they just book a call. And Ryan, this is a little kind of not embarrassing, but unique to say, we have no salespeople at our company. So when they book a call, they're not talking with a salesperson. These are consultants. These are people that had their own life-changing experience. Some of them are 20 and 30-year nurses. After they did this, they quit nursing.
Wow.
They said, I got into nursing to make people well. No, you guys are going to the root cause and making people well. In our medical training, and all the doctors say this too, by the way, and doctors have pointed their finger in my face and said, John Jubilee, you cracked the code. You cracked the code because what I was taught in med school was to find a symptom and treat it with a pharmaceutical drug.
Yeah.
Find another symptom, treat it with a pharmaceutical drug. You're not doing that. You're just going to the root cause, which is inflammation, and you're flushing out that inflammation. That's why your clients reverse.
I've heard that a lot about inflammation in the body. Like it's the cause for pretty much everything. And
yes,
you're talking about this raisin analogy of being dehydrated. But when I think of inflammation, I think of it's getting bigger and inflamed. So they kind of seem contradicting.
So let's break it down. Again, I love to simplify this stuff.
Yeah.
So let's think of what inflammation is. Inflames. Your body's in flames. There's all these little fires going on all over inside your body because something malfunctioned, and it's like a fire broke out. So now we have flames in the body. Well, what puts out a flame? Water. So now the body's in panic mode. The red lights are going off. The emergency is happening in real time. And the body says, we are in flames. Let's take the little bit of hydration we have in our cells and let's put out these fires. Oh, wait, we don't have enough to put them out, but at least we can calm them down a little bit. And what happens? It's the vicious circle. The inflammation causes us to intentionally, the body dehydrates itself because it's using its healthy hydration for something it's not supposed to be using it for. But when we create this river of living water by doing this 88-day protocol, oh no, we're coming in with the fire trucks, the fire hoses. We're creating a river of living water. It's like a tsunami of water comes in there, and it flushes out all the inflammation. And that's why that first 11 years, when I would say to people, when they would say, can you help me? And I'd say, I don't know, let's see. I don't know, let's see. I don't know, let's see. Well, after 11 years, I realized, it's the tsunami of water. It's the river of living water that's coming into their body. It's eradicating the inflammation. And when you take out the inflammation, the cancer can't survive. The autoimmune disorder can't survive. You can't have gluten intolerance. You can't have lactose intolerance. You can't have high blood pressure. It's hard to have a bad day.
Yeah. So walk me through some of the other steps in the protocol, because I know we talked about drinking water. We talked about walking. What was the third one we talked about?
Nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition.
Just cutting out the sugar and the white flour.
Cutting out the sugar and the white flour. What are some of the other things they should be doing?
Yeah, well here's a big one I would recommend for anyone, which is there was a scientist, his name was Emoto, and a lot of people probably looked this guy up online, but he's the guy that would flash freeze water after he spoke to it. So he would speak to water, and he would say all these negative things to it, and then he would flash freeze it, and it looked like toxic waste. But then he would take this other water, and he would say words like love, wisdom, and he would say positive words. And then he'd flash freeze this water, and it looked like these beautiful snowflakes or beautiful pieces of jewelry. And think about it. Our body is mostly water. So even the words we're speaking out of our mouth impact our body's health. They impact us at the cellular level. And so we teach people in our protocol, one of the principles is positive affirmations. I am strong. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am stronger today than I was yesterday. And I can tell you that one works.
Yeah.
Because I said that one for 29 years. I'm stronger today than I was yesterday. I'm stronger today than I was yesterday. I am in perfect health from head to toe. But there's a power in people just learning how to speak to themselves and speak positive words, out of their mouth. There's another principle of people recognizing if they have cellular trauma. And this is something that my wife wrote a book on this, my beautiful, amazing wife, Chelsea. But I would ask people out there to, do this for yourself. There's a study called the ACE study, ACE, and it's Adverse Childhood Experiences. And you could take this test in 1 minute, but you could pull it up online, the ACE study, and you just give yourself 1 point for each of the 10 items that are listed there if you experience that. It could be someone in your family was an alcoholic, or you were sexually abused or physically abused. Someone was divorced, but it lists adverse things that can happen to us as a child. And most of us have cellular trauma. Most of us have cellular trauma. Like I'm a 9. I'm a 9 on that. I had a lot of cellular trauma, as a young man. My wife has a very high score on this, but this is one of the things we teach because we both recognized we had all this cellular trauma that needed to come out of us because you cannot have optimal health. There's no disconnection between the mind, the body, and the spirit. And people could eat the best food in the world. They could have the best exercise program, but if they don't take care of their mind and their spirit, they're still going down. They're still going down. How bet you people know somebody in their family that just had a really bad attitude and they might have ate perfectly, trained perfectly, but they died prematurely. And a lot of people, anyway, I want to tie in this principle of cellular trauma. We all have to recognize where are we starting from. What cellular trauma do I have that I need to evict from my body, from my mind, from my soul, from my spirit? These are part of the things that we cover that are way deeper than, hey, let's just, eat a good diet and let's go for a walk and let's drink some water. It's really deeper than that of how to really get healthy at the cellular level.
Yeah. What's interesting? I read a book called The Spiritual Root of Disease. Have you ever read that book?
No.
It's very similar things, but it's talking about how at the root of so many diseases is not what the medical community would have you believe. A lot of it is just like what you're talking about right now, like this. Like what you're talking about is like, okay, positive affirmations. People have heard that before, but you're talking about like now what's happening when those affirmations happening and the self-talk and all these things versus like everybody in the entrepreneur community would probably agree like, yeah, we shouldn't have negative talk to ourselves. We should do positive talk. But we're just like, it just makes sense. But you're saying at the cellular level, this is what is happening based on the water study or whatever. And then even in that book, it goes like way deeper into the supernatural side of what's happening with words and emotions and things that are happening in your body. And like one thing they found was a lot of people carry unforgiveness and they just will not forgive somebody. And they're holding a grudge for so long. And you can just see scientifically the stress and anxiety and all these things it's putting on their body and their cells. And you're like, yeah, that's literally why you have cancer. That's why you have this. That's why you have that. And like it does a way better job of breaking down like why their body broke down.
Yeah. Well, this is profound that you're bringing this up. And this also is one of our principles we teach, which is not only forgiveness, but release.
Yeah.
So you have to have both. So it's one thing to say, I forgive someone. It's another thing to fully release them. The Mayo Clinic has even validated that. Now, we've been teaching this for 29 years, by the way, the principle of forgiveness and release to have optimal health at the cellular level.
Yep.
The Mayo Clinic in the midst of the 29 years that we've been sharing this, the Mayo Clinic came up with what they call forgiveness therapy. And they have it in every cancer ward, in every Mayo Clinic, because they have scientifically documented the connection between unforgiveness and cancer.
Yeah, that book talked about it. And that's why, like, when I read the Bible and, once again, this is like, it's the ultimate prescription of life, and talks about, hey, like, you need to forgive. Like, Jesus, he forgave you, and then, you're not going to go forgive other people. Like, that makes no sense. You might as well check if you're really a Christian if you yourself can't forgive. And there are so many people, even Christians, who live in such unforgiveness. And like, we have done, what we would call deliverances and different things with people who are dealing with these different things. And then it's like, they're delivered from it. And it's like this just weight is just gone. And you can't, unless you've been a part of something like that, you just, it sounds so foreign, but I can see both the supernatural impact on that person, like changing, which then impacts the physical. It's
so
hard
how
to
does someone
explain.
do the release part? Let's just say they're like, okay, I'm ready to forgive. How do they release?
Yeah, so there's a process, for anyone. And by the way, I would challenge all the listeners, that are on here right now is, do a self-check-in right now. Do a self-check-in. Is there somebody you're holding unforgiveness of?
Yeah.
Because if there is, unforgiveness is like drinking the poison and expecting it to hurt the other person. That's a classic definition.
Yeah, you're just poisoning yourself every day.
No,
the other person, nothing is happening to them.
That's right. And so we all need to go through that process, of forgiveness. And we have a whole, elongated,
That's one of the things in the protocol.
It is. It is one of the things that we walk people through. And my wife and I share this from a very personal, I had two brothers growing up. Both of my brothers were murdered. And when your brothers are murdered, you want to kill somebody.
Yeah. Revenge.
And so you want to have revenge, and that's what every young man wants if you're someone that you love. So I had to go through this process of forgiving, on two separate occasions,
Wow.
of people that, now, interestingly, for a long time, I held the unforgiveness. So I created cellular trauma within myself. And I'm sure that was part of my pain in my body, part of my bone on bone in my knees, part of my 10-inch belly. That was all part of my journey. But when I finally got where I was willing to not only forgive, but to fully release. And when you've released, you know that you've fully released somebody when it does not, it cannot extract any emotion from you anymore.
Yeah.
There's no emotion to it. Then you know that you're really free. You know that you're free from it.
And from my perspective, having seen that many times, I would actually say that release is demonic. Like, it is a demonic force being released that's been kind of over you. And there's just so much to it. It is a supernatural thing that people just,
The
Bible
that
talks
blocks the release.
Well, I would say like a lot of what is causing unforgiveness is demonic things around you, speaking to you, talking like, why am I always thinking about this person? Why am I always, struggling with this thing? And I think a lot of it's demonic.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, just to make it simple, it's like the devil on the shoulder, right? It's like the devil on the shoulder. It tries to keep you in remembrance of that every day to torment you.
Yep.
But when you
release
that completely out, and now it's totally gone. And if it tries to come back, guess what? You can swat it away.
Yep.
There's a reason that there is a scripture in the Bible that says, think on these things that are good, things that are pure, things that are lovely, things that are of a good report, things that are praiseworthy. Well, why? Because that's really healthy. It's really healthy.
Yeah.
And you quoted some great scriptures there, and I'll just throw in a couple more here that show that, God's word is the ultimate prescription. 3 John 2 says, beloved, I wish above all things. Wow. What do you wish above all things? That you be in health and that you prosper. So this is the wealthy way.
Yep.
So that's amazing. So 2 of the top things above all things is that you be in health. But notice what comes first. It's health. Then it's wealth, that you prosper. And then it says, because you walk in the truth.
Yeah.
So if we're willing to walk in truth, God's 2 highest priorities for us, have your health. And this is what I learned way back then. No amount of money can replace your health. Hey, let's call Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we can't. He has a $1 trillion company and he didn't even get to live half of a lifetime because he lacked one thing, his health. And then 1 Corinthians 6:12 says, glorify God in your body. Wow, that's in the Bible. Well, how do we do that? Well, we have the healthiest body we can possibly have because it is the temple of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So it's an act of worship for every believer. Every believer, we have a mandate from God that we are the temple of the Holy Spirit. We need to have the healthiest body we can have to glorify God in our body on this earth. And he already told us, hey, I wish this above everything, guys, because none of us can fulfill our destiny without our health.
For sure.
How do we release? Let's go back to that. So we said forgive and release. How does someone release?
Yep. So the release is really what Ryan was saying. No, you have to be willing to, it's like cast the demon out or off.
Yeah.
So whether it's inside you or on your shoulder, no, you got to be willing to cast that thing completely out. It's like evicting somebody from a home it's like evicting a renter. You're saying, no, you no longer have permission to take up space here. Your voice is no longer, you can't stay. You're illegally here. I'm kicking you out.
Yeah.
So it's given the eviction notice to that voice, to that demon of unforgiveness. And I truly do believe it's a demonic force because it kills people. It creates cancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it is that powerful. And again, I had to do it. My wife was sexually abused for about 7 years of her life when she was younger.
Oh boy.
So she had all these horrific, memories and unforgiveness. And she did the same thing.
She had to be delivered from it.
And so we tell people, we have no information at Energize Health. We have no information. We have impartation because we have lived it. And when you live something, you have something to impart.
Yep.
When you just want to sell something, you just look it up online, you create a course. Now you have information. We don't have information. We have impartation because everything we teach, we have lived it personally.
Also, too, I never even knew about impartation until 2 years ago when I physically had been imparted on by somebody. And
can you explain what that is for people that don't know?
I mean, if you look throughout the Bible, the way I would understand impartation is that usually the laying of hands of somebody on somebody else, and they would be given the Holy Spirit, gifts of the Spirit, and all these things, casting out a demon, healing somebody. Like Jesus laid hands on people to heal them. It's an impartation. It's like I don't know, like the dictionary word of impart, but it'd be like giving something to somebody else that you have. And yeah, like I said, I've just been a part of deliverances of people who have demonic things and unforgiveness and all these things, anxiety, stress, healings, whatever. And that's why I was bringing up that book, the Spiritual Root of Disease, because everything you're saying, literally, it's in that book as well. A lot of these things, not with walking and water and stuff, but now what you're getting into, because yeah, I just thought about it even at the basic level. If somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh, this spiritual stuff, whatever. Even at the basic eye test level, have you ever met somebody who's just always bitter at the world, who's always blaming other people, who always thinks the world's against them and everyone's out to screw them? You talk to them oh, I'd never forgive my parents for what they did to me, my grandparents or that person, or they've been through a divorce and, they're just they just live such crappy lives. I would never want to hang around this person. And you look at their health too. And it's they're always in health problems. They're always sick. They're always just weak. And you're there's 1000% a correlation. You cannot deny. It's just obvious looking at it.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm just going to bring another scripture in here. My people perish for lack of knowledge, for lack of knowledge. And so I really do believe, God allows people to come to a place where when they're seeking the knowledge, then the knowledge finds them. And I can't tell you how many thousands of people we've had say, no, you were like an answer to prayer. You were like an answer to prayer. This protocol was our answer to prayer. Like we were gluten intolerant. We thought that was going to be the rest of our life. But next thing you know, we're praying, God, is there an answer? Is there an answer? And then here we see you on a TV show. We see you on a podcast, and now our whole life has changed. But there's a knowledge. Knowledge is a first step, but knowing is not doing.
Yeah.
So God can give you knowledge, but then it's up to us to take an action step.
Yeah.
It's like the Bible says, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So first we have to get the knowledge, but then we have to do something, with that knowledge. And so there are physical, mechanical things of just how we're made as humans that if we'll just do specific things, it's impossible to not get well.
Yeah. One of my favorite Bible verses is James 1:22. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. And you're just like, how many people are like, oh, yeah. I heard that. All right. He's like, do what it says. Like, I don't know. That sounds pretty hard. I don't know. John, you're saying I got to forgive people, bro? Yeah. Like, I thought I was going to, just drink some water and be good. I'm not trying to do all that. Yeah. I got to walk for an hour?
Yeah.
It's like, bro.
I just want Retta.
Yeah. Give me TRT and I'll be square. And it's like, yeah. So what are some other ones? Like now I'm very curious, like what are some of the other ones? Because I'm curious how they line up with things I've seen personally. And I'm also curious of my own hydration levels now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, me too, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's a powerful thing to be curious. We're talking about this, off air. Yeah, everyone, number one, does need to be curious of how hydrated we are. Because if we don't know that, that's more important than our blood pressure, than our A1C, than our triglycerides, or anything. It's a number one health marker that we all need to know. And I'm going to tie it back to something, Jesus said, you'll be like a tree planted by a river of living water. And think about that. How do trees absorb water?
Their roots.
Through the root system.
Yeah.
So most people would think, so just like you mentioned earlier, oh, well, can't we just drink water? Well, could a tree drink water? No, because all that rain comes on a tree. None of that gets into the tree. No, it comes through the root system. And that's what the cells are to the human body. They are the root system to the human body. So it's just a reflection, of, the things of God are clearly seen by things that are made. And the cellular system is like the root system of a tree. And by the way, if you look at the picture of somebody on an MRI, it looks like a big root system of a tree root system. It really is just like that. But as that hydration gets in there, if you can just visualize every organ turning from a raisin to a grape, now it's optimized. Your pancreas functions how it's supposed to, your liver, your kidneys, your lungs, your brain, your pituitary, your thyroid. We just had a woman last Tuesday. She shared a testimony. For 20 years, her doctor said, please let me just take this thyroid out. This thing has not worked for 20 years, just wasting space. But she just didn't want to have a surgery. She did this 88-day protocol. She comes on the Tuesday night call. She's crying. She's got this medical report. So she did all of her blood markers. She said, John, my thyroid is functioning 100% perfect. Like it was perfect the whole time. She said, but it went from being 20 years dead. She said, how is that even possible? She said, but I have the medical proof it really happened. I said, well, you ever heard of a dead car battery that got a jump start? He said, no, it's like your cellular hydration just got in there. Your body's electrical, supercharges. So we've had people that had thyroids or pituitaries or kidneys. We've had people, we've had people with diabetes that, all of a sudden they're type 1 diabetics. So type 2, that's the easy stuff. But we've had type 1 diabetics that have said their insulin was cut in half. Why? Because they started producing insulin again. and they were told they'd never produce insulin again. So there really is amazing science, but do you know what the definition of the word science is? It's a search for the truth that is known. God knows how he made the human body, and he made it extraordinary. And that's why, we see things at our company at Energize Health. There's a saying, it's the miracle of the day. The miracle of the day. And why do we say that? Because every day we have a client that says, no, for me, this is a miracle of what's happened to me. The fact that now I'm off my insulin, or my insulin's in half, or my kidneys started functioning that they said would never function again. It's a miracle of the day. It's powerful.
So you said you can't have, for the 88 days, the sugar and the flour. What about after 88 days? Yeah.
After 88 days, you can eat everything in moderation.
So I really need to eat ice cream.
Yeah.
Hey, well, guess what? I got twin 12-year-olds. They just turned 12 on the 4th of July, so we had cake on the 4th and ice cream, and then we had cake and ice cream. My wife is born on July 8th and had Ava on the 8th, our 15-year-old. She just turned 15. So yes, once you get healthy at the cellular level, you can eat sugar and white flour in moderation for the rest of your life. Yes, you can't add it back in. Great question.
What about supplements? Is there supplements that you suggest?
Great question. Well, first of all, I don't recommend expensive pee, so don't waste any money on a supplement until you get your cells healthy. So I want everybody to hear that clearly. Do not spend one penny on any supplement ever until you get healthy at the cellular level, until it opens up like the sponge. But after you do that, yes, I recommend a handful of supplements. And I'll tell you one that I recommend that nobody really ever talks about, and it's MSM.
Never heard of it.
So, yeah. Well, it's methylsulfonate methane. Methylsulfonate methane. And just share, I will get a little bit sciencey here because this one's worth it. So MSM is in all natural water supply on the planet Earth. Every stream, every well. When God made water, he did not make H2O. No, when God made water, his recipe is H2O MSM. He put methylsulfonate methane in all water on the planet Earth. But it's a sulfur-based, and sulfur doesn't smell good and it doesn't taste good. And so everywhere in the United States, everywhere in the world, they take the MSM out of the water because they don't like the way it smells. They don't like the way it tastes. But it is the most amazing natural anti-inflammatory on the planet Earth. And God made it, and God put it in water. And every one of us is supposed to be drinking it and bathing in it, absorbing it through our skin every day of our life. And none of us has ever had it unless you're one of our clients. So at Energize Health for 29 years, after the first 15 days on the protocol, we have everyone begin to add MSM. So that supplement is something that, look, if you're willing to make the commitment to get healthy at the cellular level, everyone needs MSM. We all need it. God put it in water so that there's no way we could avoid it.
They just remove it because it smells.
Because it smells, and half the people say it has a bitter taste.
And you just take a couple of pills of MSM? It's not...
You could take it in a capsule. You could take it in a powder. We actually made one all natural that tastes like Kool-Aid. Do
you believe in electrolytes at all?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. The trifecta for electrolytes is magnesium, potassium, and by the way, I do recommend alpha lipoic acid. Alpha lipoic acid.
I've done that before.
Yeah. So ALA, super. But yes, electrolytes do help with water. Jesus said you're the salt of the earth. So everyone needs salt, potassium, and magnesium. That's the trifecta for electrolytes. Salt, potassium, magnesium.
I got to check what my electrolytes have in them. I got the Element ones. They taste really good.
Is there a brand that you like with supplements and different stuff like that?
Well, again, we
said he makes their own.
You guys make your own?
Yeah, we do, but again, we don't even tell our own clients that you have to buy ours. We give them an Amazon. We say, hey, you can get it on Amazon or you can get ours. We're We're not pill pushers or supplement salespeople. We just want people to get healthy at the cellular level, and we just tell them what really works when you're doing, the 12 things together.
Got it. So give me one more that you think like people should know. We've done like 5 or 6. What's another like one that's maybe people don't think about?
Yeah. Well, one thing people don't think about is getting up on the balls of their feet.
Okay.
Okay.
So getting up on the balls of your feet. And the reason this is important is, your heart is in the middle of, it's in the upper middle part of your body. And it's a lot of work for your heart to try to create circulation. But your calf muscles are your second and third heart. And if
this is why I'm healthy, dude.
I know you got huge calves. The Filipinos.
My calves are like all I got.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on. No, if you get up on the balls of your feet, that accelerates, your circulation manifold times. So now your heart doesn't have to work so hard, but now you're creating full circulation, in your whole body, and you're optimizing your circulation. And the more circulation you have, easier on your heart, you're getting full blood flow. And especially when you're doing the things that we're teaching, it's going to help that hydration get inside the cells.
Yeah.
So we actually build our clients up where they start with walking, but they end up doing what we call the Jubilee Shuffle.
Okay.
And we get them up on the balls of their feet for the full 60 minutes. So
whoa,
it ends up
they're like toe walking?
Ball of feet.
Okay.
So if we say toes, they'll get on their toes. So we can't say toes, but they're getting on the ball of their foot, And by the way, I'm talking people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
Is that the back of
the
their
ball
foot?
of your foot's the front.
No, the ball is the front.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So they walk around the
That's
ball
like-
of the foot.
You probably can't see on the show, but John's calves are like really good. Yeah, they're legit.
I need to do that.
Yeah, and then Brian doesn't even know what the balls of his feet are.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's why he's over here doing shin races.
got good front chins.
I got good shins because I just do shin races.
So you tell them to do that for an hour.
Walk on basically not the tippy toes, but the balls of their feet for an hour.
But again,
long.
there's a progression.
Right.
Yeah, there's a progression. But
You would get your calves would get so yoked if you did that an hour a day.
Well, and look, that's just the side effect, right? But the real reason we're doing it is to enhance that circulation. To optimize it.
Dang.
It's great for your whole body. It's great
Okay,
for
that's
all
new
your
too.
cellular
Yeah, I
function.
never heard of that.
That's crazy.
Did you see that guy, Brian Johnson?
Yeah, what do you
Has
think of that
autoimmune
guy,
disease?
the don't die guy?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I would, what I say to everybody. Because again, I'm a pure scientist. I don't care what the truth is. I just want to know what it is. And I want to share that with people.
Right.
And so, if Brian Johnson was sitting right here, I would say, well, Brian, you spent $2 million a year to try to look young. How'd that work for you?
You're saying he doesn't look
That was like
that
a
great.
side.
Well, it's, but to me, it's never about the looks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah, because these bodybuilders look good, but they're unhealthy.
Exactly.
Right.
So I really don't care if he looks good or not. What I do care about though is, brother, you spent $2 million a year and now you have an incurable autoimmune disorder is what they're telling him.
Yeah.
Like that's heartbreaking to me because that guy was trying.
Yeah.
And I relate to him, by the way, because I tried for 10 years. I spent hundreds, not millions, but I spent hundreds of thousands and $1,000 a month on supplements. It didn't work for me either. But I was honest enough to look at myself and say, okay, I've been doing this for 10 years. This is not working. So I need to do something different.
Right.
Well, then when I did this for 29 years, hey, this is working.
Yeah.
I have not had one day of sickness in 29 years. Not one.
That's a big claim.
It's a big claim, yeah.
It's a fact. It's a
crazy.
fact. And by the way, my insurance guy can back it up.
Yeah.
Because all the insurance guys out there will know what I'm talking about when I say this. So when I went to get life insurance, which you have a lot of life insurance, right? When you have 8 kids.
Yep.
I had to get the big policy where they shave your chest and put all the, EKG on you and
Dang.
blood and urine and everything. So they did all that. And my category is super ultra preferred. Super ultra preferred. Now, my insurance guy's been at it a long time. He said, John, you're the first client I ever had in my life that was super ultra preferred. He goes, they think you're never going to die. He goes, but this is what the funny part that happened. So it goes to a big underwriter. The underwriter came, I had to sign an affidavit. When I got this insurance that I'm a real person. You know why?
They thought you're an alien?
Close. Because I don't show up in the medical system.
Because you've never been.
I have no prescriptions and I have no medical issues that I had. They said, how can this guy, because medical shows up like your credit does.
Right.
It's like a credit report.
Yeah.
And when they ran the report, they're like, this guy doesn't exist. He's not a real person.
Yeah.
So it's not a claim, it's a fact, and it's documented.
Yeah.
Through the
This guy's literally not been to the hospital. He doesn't have a drug. He has nothing. Dang, dude.
Yeah, that Brian Johnson guy, I knew when he started saying stuff like I'm competing with Jesus and stuff like that, I'm like, something's going on.
Oh, you're about to get struck.
Yeah. I saw that. I remember when Conor McGregor was like, I am a god. He said that on a press conference. I was like, oh, this guy's going to lose. And then he lost his very next fight. That was like the first time he lost in the UFC.
Well, here's what I would encourage people. Look, the Bible says Moses was 120 years old at full strength, 120. And you can find a bunch of guys in the Bible over 100 years old, by the way.
They're 900 years old.
And none of them were in an old folks' home, and none of them were wearing diapers. So there's a way to live with integrity, with strength, with honor, with power. God really did make us to live like that, but not to have that kind of pride like those guys had.
Yeah.
But God really did give us, this life. This life is important. Otherwise, he would have just skipped it. We all could have just been born in heaven. But this life is important. God wants us to have impact in this life. He wants us to let our light shine, in this world. And he gave us all free will. And it really is, whatever life we're living today, again, whether it's our finances or our health or our relationships, it's based on the daily decisions we're making.
Do you think you're going to keep getting stronger as you get older?
Absolutely.
How old do you think you can get?
Well, my declaration is I will be full strength at 120 years old.
Dang.
Yeah, that's my declaration. So, it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm being prideful to say that.
Yeah.
I'm just basing it off of, if God did it for Moses and he's no respecter of person, then I believe, that
120 is crazy.
That could happen for me.
Still having sex all the time?
No drugs.
No drugs. Damn.
How old was your wife when you had your last kid? Because you said you got like a 12-year-old.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Well, I'm version 2.0. So I have another miracle story I'm a blended family.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had 3 biological children, had a divorce after 21 years. I adopted 2 13-year-old African-American sons. Call those my rainbow boys because they're black, brown, and white.
Okay.
And so when you have 5 children, 2 are adopted, you will be single for a while, right?
Everyone's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had 5 and raised 5 up and out and, in and out of college as a single dad. And then I was living in Zurich, Switzerland. This is part of my, I was in banking early on before I got into health and wellness. I was in banking and spent 2 years in Zurich, Switzerland, did these crazy cool banking deals, when I lived over there. But I got down on a knee and I said a prayer. Now, I still had my health and wellness going on at that time too, by the way. And I said, Heavenly Father, I want you to pick my next wife. I said, because I didn't do a very good job on the first one. So I'm going to trust you. And I know we can marry anybody that we want. But I said this simple prayer. I came to California to do a couple television shows for my health and wellness protocol that I have. And someone scammed my credit card for $5,000 for an entrepreneur event in San Diego. And because I only used debit cards, they wouldn't refund my money. So I went to the event. So at the event, I feel the Holy Spirit tell me, he said, don't leave till you talk to the girl behind you. And I just reached my hand back, said, hey, don't leave till I talk to you. And so.
Dang, that's a good line.
That's nice.
So when we turned around, I said, what are you doing here? She said, I came to interview this famous doctor because I'm writing a book.
We turned around, what are you doing here?
said, I'm writing a book on cellular trauma. And she said, but he didn't have the information. Well, this doctor was my client. he was doing my 88-day protocol. I said, well, maybe I have your information. And so sure enough, she said, well, yeah, could I interview you for my book? I said, sure. So we go sit down. Well, long story short, we end up sitting there till 4:00 in the morning. And the Holy Spirit said, see that woman? That's your wife. I said, really? Nice pick.
Nice pick.
And so, no, it was a miracle. So not only did we get married, but we married her. She was writing a book on cellular trauma.
Uh-huh.
And she had built 2 multi-million-dollar companies in real estate, by the way, in real estate and mortgage. So she's kind of in your lane. But she left all that. And we not only married, but we married our science.
Mm.
And so that's when we birthed. That's when Energized Health became Energized Health.
How long ago was that?
So 8 years ago.
Oh, wow. So you're recently married.
Yeah, 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's an awesome love story. It's an awesome business story. Yeah. God supernaturally, we thought we were going under during COVID.
So you said you raised 5 kids.
Yeah.
As a single dad.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's a job.
That's a job, for sure. I think about man, how would I raise my 4 kids by myself, bro?
It's hard.
That's
It's
a lot.
impossible. Yeah.
That's a lot. So you said you guys almost went bankrupt in COVID?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Our house was deed in lieu of foreclosure.
Dang.
My wife's car got repossessed, and she's so positive. She just stuck her head in the door, said, babe, there's more room in the driveway for the kids to play. But she had a really positive attitude. But we did live events and signed people up for the protocol at live events. So all live events were shut down. All of our offices were shut down. And so we really thought we were nowhere to go, but we pivoted to Zoom, and we started doing online coaching and online Zoom calls. And long story short, God just supernaturally, gave us a strategy and gave us, new strategies, new ways of doing things in a different way. So it really was all him. But our company 20x'd, from then until now. I think last year we were number 356 on the Inc. 5,000 out of 20 million companies. Just all glory to God that he just blessed our company to, have that kind of success.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you were telling me pre-show, you were like, hey, Ryan, if you do this 88-day thing, I can increase your strength by 50%.
Damn.
I was like, does that go to my driver too? Like how far could I hit a golf ball? And he's like, I'm telling him, I'm like, I'm pound for pound, like extremely strong relative to most people.
You are strong. You told me what you lift. That's amazing. That's top 1%.
Yeah. And I was like,
1%.
I'm like, okay, John says he's strong. Let's see how strong, I'm like, I lift, I'll do like 250 for like 10 reps. And that's me, like just not exerting too much. Like I'm not like going to failure. I have no spotter or nothing. Like that's just what I've been doing for years. He's like, yeah, I'll do like 225 for like 50. And I was like, oh, okay. Never mind. And he's like, well, we can get you up like 50% like in the next 88 days. And I was like, all right. And then you were telling me about a Seahawks player that you guys did that with.
Yes. Yeah, no, he literally, and I only want to talk about him, by the way, but yeah, he doubled his strength. He doubled his strength in 88 days. Yeah. He's already one of the strongest guys probably in the history of the NFL, and he doubled his strength in 88 days.
Damn.
What kind of workouts do you do? Because I mean, most of the things you talked about were like anyone can do them, right? Like walking and all this stuff, but you clearly lift weights. Like what's your science on lifting weights?
Yeah, so I want to be real clear. Yeah, everybody can do the 88-day protocol. And my weightlifting is 20 to 30 minutes, 4 days a week. So I just enjoy it. So that's the resistance training. And it's because I really do believe the new science just in the last 24 months says longevity is tied to one thing: strength.
Muscle.
The stronger you are, the better your muscle is, the longer and the better you're going to live. It doesn't matter if you live to be 100 years old, but you spend 20 years old in a nursing home wearing a diaper and someone wiping your butt. That's no way to live. I'm talking about living long, living strong, having full power, full energy to do anything and everything you want to do every day of your life. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So there is another level, like for guys.
I'm getting hyped up right now. I know. Listening. I'm like, yeah, I'm down with that. Let's go.
Gonna work out right now.
Let's go.
Go to my house. We can see who can bench more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for guys like you, I have what I call energized elite.
Okay.
Energized elite. You're already in great shape. And then what I'm going to do is give you what I call the Fantastic Four.
Oh, God, I keep getting more hyped each second. What's the Fantastic Four? Now you know.
But just adding, look, you're always going to stay with your fundamentals, right? So the greatest players of all time, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, they always stuck with their fundamentals. But then they did something extra that other people didn't do. Kobe Bryant, fundamentals, but what are the extra things that they did? And that's what I add. So everyone can do the basic, 12 things at Energized Health. But guys like you, when you guys come in, I say, hey, you're at a whole different level. Let's do Energized Elite for you. And I coach you guys myself, by the way.
This just keeps getting better. All right. So what are four of the things? I got to know what the Fantastic Four is.
Well, I'm not going to share that on air. I mean, that really is intellectual property.
Okay.
And I do train pro athletes. I mean, pro athletes come to me for that.
Okay.
They'll come to me for that. And also realize for a professional athlete, think about the difference between beef jerky and a tender steak. Do you know that 90% of every injury in the NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, it's a soft tissue injury. And it's because they don't have enough hydration in their muscle and they get these injuries. So these guys want intercellular hydration so that they avoid their soft tissue injuries. Their endurance goes through the roof, and of course, their strength goes up 50%.
Yeah, let me ask you about that. So I've been monitoring the world of sports, ever since I retired. And this is my objective, like what I see. I see guys, in baseball particularly, are throwing the ball way harder than ever before. I mean, it seems like every pitcher throws 100 miles an hour, but they're also tearing their elbows way more than ever before. I see these guys in the NBA getting hurt way more often now. I see these guys in the NFL, just non-contact injuries, always tearing their ACLs way more frequently. But everyone is running faster. They are lifting heavier. They are throwing the ball harder. Like their output is definitely increasing. They have more force. So maybe their body just can't handle the increased force. Like, what do you see?
And they're playing more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, being a pure scientist, I don't care what the truth is, just want to know what it is and share that. And so, listen, when you start adding performance enhancing drugs, yes, on one hand, your body can do things it's not really supposed to do. But the rest of the body, part of the body can. So there's a reason the day I lifted 555 pounds 14 times, the next day I just went and worked out like normal. Because guess why? Because my tendons, my ligaments, my joints, they're all optimized at the cellular level because there's nothing artificial in there. There's nothing artificial in there. But when you start putting artificial things in there, you're doing something to your body it's not designed to do, and you're going to pay a price for it. And that's what I really believe all of those injuries are tied to. Those guys are taking artificial things. You're making your body do something at a level it's not really designed to do, and it's going to break.
Interesting. You don't think it has to do with their training methods? Because just looking at baseball, I see their training methods are totally different than when I was playing. Like, these dudes are literally training to throw the ball as hard as possible. Like, they are literally sprinting like 30 yards and throwing a ball as hard as they can into a net. Like, that didn't exist when I was playing. Like, we would just be like, yeah, let's play catch and freaking, play long toss. We would try to throw it as far as we can. But these guys are now doing all these different drills to just gain arm speed.
Yeah. Well, again, I think it's a combination of all those things.
Right.
I definitely believe it's a combination of all those things.
Right. So once again, if somebody wants to, get with you guys, where do they go?
Yeah. Go to Energized Health, energizedhealth.com. and just book a call. Just have a conversation, with somebody. No one's going to try to sell you anything. They're just going to give you great information, answer the questions you have. And if they're a guy like you, please make sure they mentioned Energized Health Elite.
Yeah.
Mention Elite. Like, hey, I don't need to get off a drug. I don't need to lose any weight. I'm already in great health. No, I just want to be 50% stronger.
Yeah.
And I want to be that youthful when I'm 65 or 75 or 85 or 95.
Okay.
And by the way,
could Brian do Elite?
Can I do Elite?
He's not going to
say yes, bro. What's wrong with you, bro?
You got to tell me. You gotta tell me. Hey, I will share a story though. But a 92-year-old. So I had a 92-year-old couple come up to me one day and they said, "Hey, John, could we do your protocol?" And I said, "Can I ask how old you guys are?" They said, "We're 92." So I paused for a moment and I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'll make you a deal. You guys promise you will not die, and you can do it."
You don't.
I said, that would be bad for my marketing if you guys kick the bucket. And they laughed and they said, "Hey, we'll stay alive as long as we can." I said, "Awesome." So they do this protocol.
The Elite. Or the normal?
No, they did normal, but this guy gained 15 pounds of solid muscle at 92 years old in 88 days.
Wow.
And he got into this rowing. He really liked that rowing machine thing.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out, they have a competition. You row for an hour, they count your rows. So this guy enters 70 and over Tennessee championship. He wins the state championship for Tennessee, 70 and over at 92 years old.
Right.
Wow.
Qualifies for nationals. He goes to Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He wins the national. So I call him up. His wife called me and told me he won. I called him. I said, "Joe, I heard what happened." He goes, "Yeah, I'm so mad." I said, "What do you mean you're so mad? I already know you won." He goes, "I know, John, but I missed the world record by 12 rows." I said, "Joe, you got the world record for 75 and over. Dude, those guys are 22 years younger than you."
Yeah.
His wife got so much energy at 92 years old. At 93, she ran for mayor, was elected mayor of Fairview, Tennessee. 93 years old.
So she had more comprehension than Biden.
You should have put Biden on this 12-step.
Biden needed the protocol. He couldn't remember anything. That's funny. Yeah, my dream is, they got the senior PGA tour. Like, I just want to be like 55, just hitting bombs and tearing it up. They're just like,
driving over the green from the reds.
They're like, "You have to drug test this guy." And I'm like, I just have my cells are just so energized. Like, it just is what it is.
That's it.
Hitting it 400 yards at 60. That would be sweet. Well, John, dude, this has been great. We'll definitely put all your links down in the description, everything else. I'm going to go be elite and get way stronger. I'm down with it. Brian, I'm going to force Brian to do it.
He's going to force me to do it.
Yeah, and we're going to have a good time. So I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing everything, man.
Let's go. Hey, well, great being here with you guys.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Cool. Guys, make sure you subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.